Hello.
Hello, our Pentex episode was too long. We had to make another one.
Yeah. And we would have been up to like 3 in the morning if we didn't like spread that out.
There's a lot of stuff to talk about with Pentex, isn't there?
Yes, there is. It's not like they're the paragon of evil in this world that we live in. Nothing like that, of course.
See, I typed in Pentex on.
You typed in
I typed in
Pentex on
Pentex
what?
on Google, and this is like this fucking Reddit post comes up.
Hang on, I'm gonna open that up. I'm gonna put that on the screen. Let's take a look at this. Let's digest this. Okay,
Pentex is stupid, and I can't take werewolves seriously because of it. Seriously, the greatest enemy is a corporation, not a grand world conspiracy, not inquisition made by the Union of National Governments, not even an ancient wizard of terrible power. It's an evil public company. An enemy so mundane it will murder a fairy because being mentioned and so weak. It's scared of the IRC interest rates and it's also not likely, not even profitable, since doing evil stuff for the sake of being evil doesn't pay. Like, I get it, eco-terrorism versus corporate greed, but can we not reduce the greatest enemy of the warriors of the planet to that? To me, a Ventrue player. It destroys werewolf as a concept. I just can't take them seriously. Corporations are not enemies, they're assets. If the entirety of werewolf civilization can't just be a hostile, we can't just do a hostile takeover and buy a single corporation, and werewolves are not a threat to anyone. A single semi-important Venture Elder has more power and reach than all the werewolves combined, which is just silly.
This is the most Ventrue post I've ever seen ever.
I can't tell if this is ironic or not.
No,
I
no.
can't tell.
What I love is the reply to that fucking. So what I'm reading here is that you have no concept of what Pentex actually is. Clearly, Pentex corporate PR is doing a good job. That is funny. I came here just to upvote that. Okay, thank you, Reddit. Very cool. You've got your average Ventrue player and your average random interrupt glasswalker right here.
That really is just White Wolf
Oh.
RPG summarized because it's nothing. It's nothing but people arguing with each other on that subreddit. It's nothing but that.
Yep. Also, based
Y-
Flash games reference right there, Mr. Natas. Okay.
Yeah, you asked me why I don't send any of these to the White Wolf subreddit. Not only do they not have videos they can upload there, but they like straight up banned memes, and all you can do is like these boring ass posts. And I think somebody from Oxpath or Renegade is a mod, so anything and all things negative about Werewolf Fifth Edition were deleted from the subreddit.
So we were speaking on the contrary when we did our big old video about how much it sucks a giant chlamydia riddled cock.
Yeah, and everyone that joined in praising Werewolf was a fucking NPC who didn't play the game, and we have the like and dislike ratio proving that no, we were on the right side of history saying what we did.
I mean, that's the thing. It's like we criticize Werewolf 5th edition because we like Werewolf, and we felt that Werewolf 5th edition was an insult to the original concept of the game. So
We also think
Ryan,
that
what's up?
the game is in the yeah, Ryan's here. We also think that the game is in the hands of a fucking stooge who has no business running for Werewolf, and we're going to get into that today because we're talking about his contribution
Oh
to
boy,
Pentex in the middle of this.
Ryan, how
Yeah.
are you doing today?
Fucking anti-crap.
I am fucking tired.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
sound tired.
He's hungover as usual.
That's me most Sundays.
I wish I was.
See,
hungover.
you.
Get yourself
You're
some
releasing-
caffeine, my guy.
I can't. I
So let's go
started
over
a
the-
diet.
Oh, okay.
You put the die in diet.
Yes.
Let's go over the teeny tiny companies of Pentex while we get a little icebreaker going here so everybody can pull up their notes.
Yes.
I'm going to name off a company. You tell me how you think it's worm related.
All right.
We begin with Cyrenus Brands, a cigarette company.
Get people to get lung cancer so they die.
We also
Probably-
briefly mentioned in our last episode. Say again, Ryan?
Probably the CO2, or not the CO2, whatever that smoke is inside the smoke in the air is.
Did you breathe out literal pollution?
That'd
Well,
be-
Yeah.
no, that actually is a good idea. Ron, saying that.
It's like the Chesterton cigarettes with the asbestos filters.
You heard of secondhand smoke. Get ready for secondhand ozone.
We also mentioned in our last episode that the whole Philip Morris intentionally trying to make cigarettes more addictive. So
Yeah.
no brainer to have cigarette companies here.
Hey, we got
What else is here? We also have Herculean Firearms, which are a handgun manufacturer.
I mean, they probably make stuff for the army as well, I imagine. It's guns. They kill
It's
people.
namely they're aiming specifically for civilians, where they want civilians to buy their guns so they can shoot each other with the guns.
It's very odd anti-gun rhetoric
then-
in this game about destroying corporations.
And then they go in and then plead the Congress saying, even though we caused this public shooting, we want you to keep guns legal.
Oh, yeah.
So
Liberals.
next up, Pentex, which is a U.S. grocery chain.
That's a little bit of a more difficult one. I imagine that's more like control the food supply, control the people. It just slowly, much like McDonald's, make things slightly more unhealthy every day until eventually you're just a fat fuck and you die of a heart attack.
Yeah. I told the Halloween players this yesterday. I ate something. I had like a mac and cheese mix that I bought from a local grocer, and I couldn't even finish a fourth of my plate because as I was eating it, I started thinking, why does this taste sticky and why does this taste sweet? And then as I was eating it, I started feeling it sit in my stomach, and then I just felt my face turning green as I was eating it. And I said, I'm never touching this mac and cheese ever again. And just that's the name of the deal. It's like intentionally selling food that tastes like shit and does shit to your body. Is what Herrick does.
Yeah, I
can't
mean,
eat Domino's
but that's all you can-
anymore.
wait, what's up?
Domino's.
Yeah,
I
basically.
can't eat Domino's anymore because every morning, the morning after I eat Domino's, I end up vomiting.
That's fucking rough. But yeah,
Yeah, Domino's is straight nasty anyway.
Domino's is pretty scuffed.
So,
Like, if you want
So
good pizza, you
Domino's
get a local
and-
pizza place.
yeah,
the
Domino's and
here
Pizza Hut
wasn't
are both
bad.
absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, my sister used to work
Because
at Pizza Hut. It was fucking rough.
Yeah, the minute you start putting sugar in your tomato paste, I'm out.
No, oh god, Jesus. This is
No.
why you always eat
No.
local pizza.
Exactly. I ended up going to an Italian restaurant. I told you the story already, Kyle. It was this Italian restaurant that's been near me for years. I've just never gone to it. I got a medium pizza by myself, and the cheese on it was so delicious that I just ate an entire medium pizza without stopping because it was just that tasty.
That reminds me of one time I drove up to Boston to go to a buddy's wedding, and like I was at my hotel room by myself. And, like right across from me was like this little Boston pizza place, and I was on the road for like 10 hours. And I literally walked across the street, bought a pizza, walked it back to my room, and ate the whole fucking thing. I was on the
That's how I
road
know
for
it's
10
good.
hours. I was starving.
See, Omni Television.
Ryan, you want to get this one?
Omni television, brainwashing.
Fake news.
I was thinking violent
talking
pornography
about
by System of a Down, but that's close.
Don't believe the fake news. Don't believe the
that's-
fake news.
That's more Fiona than. No, sorry, that's more Black Spiral Dancers. Not Fiona.
Yeah.
It's
Don't believe the fake news. You have to
Looking at-
understand it's travesty. No, that's my that was closer to Zach than it was to Trump. Shit.
It really is just like we're going to take a story and then we're just going to completely change the context of it. And because we get the story out first, it completely muddles any kind of information and ruins any kind of context behind it. And then we're going to keep telling the lies so many times that we end up gaslighting the American public into believing what we're telling them.
That sounds about right.
You remember the Scooby-Doo movie where Fred's saying, "You guys always take my words and you try mangling them up. You're trying to make people think I think Coolsville sucks." Fred Jones only had this comment: "I think Coolsville sucks."
Wasn't that the second movie?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Forgot those movies are actually really good.
I used to love those
that
movies
really
when I
is
was a kid.
that really was just the mainstream media summarized them in 20 seconds.
Basically, the same thing. It's like that one Twitter post where it's like, yo, motherfuckers will make up anything to get us somebody. Like, you're going to go, yo, I love pancakes. And the first reply is, so you hate waffles.
Let's talk about why waffles are a bad thing. So
Protein powder in your waffles is a good thing, actually.
is waffle food actually taint food? Find out more.
See, breaking news. The racist origins behind the po' boy sandwich.
The what boys sandwich?
It's exact. The po' boy sandwich. It's like a submarine sandwich.
Oh, I like subs.
Yeah.
Now here's a question.
Siren Cosmetics.
Oh, poor self-image leading to eventual self-destruction.
Yeah. Yep. As we talked about with the CC dolls and Avalon toys.
Yep.
Objectifying yourself to the point where you only ever see yourself as an object is the name of the game. This is also the company that makes enticers.
So hold the fuck up. Hold up. What? So going back to Avalon toys with the CC dolls, does that mean that the Barbie movie was a Glasswalker psyop?
The Glasswalkers did indeed infiltrate it, yes.
They infiltrated Mattel and made like an actual, honest-to-God, good Barbie movie.
The whole montage of Ken getting red-pilled.
That's still the funniest thing I've seen. It's so good. To anybody watch, if you haven't seen the Barbie movie, go see the Barbie movie. It's so fucking good.
And if you feel that your masculinity is threatened by the Barbie movie, maybe you're not as manly as you think you are.
I just need to drink a brewski beer in Ken's Mojo Dojo Casa House.
Which you would buy if that was the thing.
I absolutely would. I would drink brewski beers in Ken's Mojo Dojo Casa House all fucking day, man.
But before we forget where we were going at, you were going to ask me a question before I brought up Siren. About Omni, was it? No?
Wait.
Never mind.
Mirai.
We've got... Well, you really.
Oh.
No, I didn't.
I don't have a single thought going through my head right now.
It's got mind blank going on.
Mm.
And thinking about last thing we've got, I put an image of them. You see that anonymous mask that I posted in history pages?
Yeah, let me grab that. Yeah, it's just a regular ass Guy Fieri, or not Guy Fieri, what's
Guy Fawkes.
Guy Fawkes mask. Why does it Guy
So
Fieri?
hold it up on the screen.
Yeah, it's up there.
It's cool. All right, so there is a hacker community created by Pentex called Incognito, which is in the 20th anniversary book. That is a direct spoof on Anonymous. And it's a group of for-hire hackers that Pentex pays to do cyber attacks, namely on the Glasswalkers, or anyone else trying to actively harm Pentex and prove what they're doing on the internet. They'll send these hackers after them. And what they'll do is that they'll start going through, they'll get your address, they'll get your IP address, they'll find out your face, your phone number, all of your personal information, immediately sell that information to a broker. That broker then sells that information to someone else. And now, behold, you now have Pentex or a Fomori coming after you.
Yeah, so you need some like next level fucking IP shuffling to get those motherfuckers off your trail.
Or hear me out.
What?
Or
hire a Get bodyguard.
That works too.
Like, yeah, Ferris can solve everything.
It's true.
You can solve anything if you got a strong enough punch.
This Fomori's come over to your door with a loaded shotgun. He opens the door. He sees Grim on the other side.
Oh, no. Grim would be like sitting there in the bushes waiting for him to knock on the door.
After the first knock,
we have the Ring doorbell camera. Just punch his head off.
Yeah, it's for with I don't
Gotta
know
be-
why. What the glasswalkers remind me of this meme I saw the other day. It's like tech enthusiasts versus tech workers. Tech enthusiasts is like everything in my home is smart. I've got a smart TV, I've got a smart doorbell, I've got Google Home, I've got, the Google Dot. I've got everything smart in my home. Tech workers, it's like I have an alarm clock and a gun if my alarm clock makes a sound I don't like.
Shit's trying to kill you, does it?
Yes, that's
Gotta
how
be
tech
careful.
workers feel.
Gotta be careful with
All
those
right.
Ring cameras, though.
Yeah, they are. They're a security risk.
One
So you can't steal shit anymore.
one wrong move, and you'll be plastered all over the fake news and text being like vicious dog attack or
Yeah, I mean, if
Oh,
you're
we got
in
this
if you're in
viral
beast
video
form, you're
today.
fine.
Of course, it's going to be a pain in the ass rain La Sombra coming through the neighborhood.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, that may or may not be a bad thing if the La Sombra's like naked running through the yard and nobody can pick him up on the Ring doorbell camera.
It's the Invisible Man.
If you're playing a La Sombra in your game, be a streaker. That's what you gotta do.
That's funny.
Wear up Tenebration Shadow. That's all you need.
What was that ability that Grim had that made cameras blur when he walked by them? Or not Grim? That
I think
it was Ragnar. I
Shrek?
think that had it.
Was-
Or no,
I
Sylvester.
think it was-
Blur the Milky Eye.
Oh yeah, that's it.
it was either Ragnar or it was
Sylvester.
Amara.
no Amara,
Uh,
not Sylvester. Sylvester was did
Sylvester.
he?
Sylvester's was your vampire.
yeah.
Yeah, I know that. I can't
Yeah.
remember. Oh, he was blurry because he was Sabat.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
wasn't.
God,
Because
invisible.
you got
What's up?
because you had a little fun with the La Sombra, but before
Yeah, we did.
you were and let's go into Tellus. Let's talk about Tellus.
Okay, this one's a doozy. So get ready, fellas. We're gonna talk about some fucking tech companies, my guy.
Hold up that picture of the gamer.
Oh, the pic. Which? Oh yeah. Let me get that up there.
Yeah,
Because this is a fucking.
I paused my video game to be here.
Yes, this is the kid that wears "I pause my game to be here" shirts. And you could
I paused
see
my goon sesh to be here.
biological warfare guy getting fucked up. Hang on, let's see. Special classic extra burger time. So you get a free thing of you get a free game of burger time. I love how it's like an N64 controller. You have all the fucking buttons in the middle of here. And also you have
I love
elementary
Burger Time.
school rampage. You have exit wound. You have biowarfare. You have gang beating and something the doctor. So,
I'm in a violent mood now.
yep. Look at the fucking look at the worm tainting this kid. It fucking just it's disgusting.
It's
So there's a lot to go over with here. So Tellus is kind of the bad boy of the video game industry. They're basically like an eviler Rockstar North. Oddly enough, they also publish a lot of educational software for children, like typing instructions and all that sort of thing. And their main goal is to sort of blur the lines between reality and game, get people so heavily immersed in their games that they lose touch with reality. And we'll get into why that is later. The CEO is said to actually literally murder people in order to find a way to make their games more realistic. Pretty
with
fucking
you saying
wild.
that.
What's up?
With you saying that, you remember seeing back in I think it was 2019 when it was released that in order to their games more realistic, video game companies were having their employees watch snuff videos.
Yes,
and they
they
started
were on
getting
Live
trauma
Leak.
from seeing those videos.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
seeing that. That's basically what they do at Tellus.
Exactly, but this CEO films his own snuff videos before showing them to his employees.
Exactly. It's a snuff seminar, really. He
It's
comes
the
up
real
in
CEO mindset.
Yeah, he comes up in front of his. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, our screening of the Serbian film has been postponed. Instead, I would like to show you one of my home videos.
Starts playing Funky Town in the background.
Yes. Okay. So,
I don't
the
that at all.
what's up?
Sorry, I thought I was muted. I'm also doing homework. I'm multitasking right now.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you're just getting slammed on all sides, aren't you?
Renaissance man.
Yes.
Yes. So,
Which is,
what's up?
I should also let you know that I haven't been able to fully focus on, what was it, Megadon.
It's all
Well,
good,
don't
bro.
worry. I've read the whole book.
Oh, sweet.
John's got you covered, bro. Don't worry about it.
I'm sorry, guys. The past few weeks, it's just been
It's all good.
unpreparedness.
Bunch of ass.
It's been
Bunch
pretty
of
rough
ass.
for everybody, I think. John had inventory. My job sucks shit. You've been busy as
Yes.
fuck.
We
So-
gotta save all of our stuff for quarter four. Just the start of quarter four. So then we gotta do everything. We gotta do everything quarter four.
Such as it is. All in time for Black Friday shopping. Okay,
Yeah,
so
it's
the
this time of the
history
year.
the history of Tellus. Tellus is actually relatively new to Pentex Corporate. See, Tellus itself was founded in 1985 developing software for the Commodore 64 and then the Macintosh 2 and later the IBMs. However, in 1989 they released their first hit was a game called Downfall. And after this game was released, they began to hire psychologists in order to find out exactly what games would hold players' attention the longest. One of the original founders of Tellus, named Abraham Regiel, met a Pentex investor by the name of Danforth Stern, and after they'd met, they hit it off, and Tellus soon fell under Pentex's wing. In 1992, they acquired the rights to a failing Japanese game company called Tetsumomo. And so they sort of began to pick up the remains of falling companies, pull them out of bankruptcy, and then, make them work on their properties. They later bought out Sunburst. They later bought out a failing electronics company called Sunburst Enterprises International. And since then, Tellus has been eating pretty well. As for the organization of the company itself, it's not a sprawling monolith like, say, Magadon or Enderon, anything like that. And the CEO has a sort of personal chic about him. The interesting thing is Abraham Regiel, otherwise known as Doc Regiel, is actually a very competent in both tech and management. He tries to keep an iron lock on all the power in Tellus. The company itself is based out of California and has 3 subdivisions based Tetsumomo in Osaka. They have one in Manchester, England, and Sunburst in Silicon Valley in California. They have a European division there for localization. However, the deterioration of Stern's psyche has lost they've sort of lost the favored son. And after that, Chase Lamont stepped in to try and be the new sugar daddy, as it were, from Pentex to Tellus. And then you have Kiro Yamazaki. And he would like to have Tellus at his disposal in order to hemorrhage influence for the rest of the company. Of course, there's another character in this book. I'm trying to remember all the names, but it's been a minute since I've read it, and it's been a long week.
Yeah, this gets a lot really namey. Wait until we do Black Dog.
Yeah,
all the people we gotta sift through for that.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the name of I'm trying to remember Francisco's first name, but I can't remember Francisco's first name.
Francisco?
Yes. And then Francisco wants Regiel because they're close in ideas, and then you have Catherine Mullet, who just doesn't want, Chase Lamont to have any more power because she doesn't trust him. And Regiel sort of uses them to bounce off each other so he stays atop of the pile. Moving on from that, we have Sunburst itself. Sunburst was once a promising up-and-comer in personal computer development. Their former CEO was a gentleman named... what's up? Yeah, basically IBM. Their former CEO was a gentleman named Donald Watts, who fucked over the company with intensely short-sighted and piggish decisions, and he basically enthusiastically took to fucking things up with, quote, a bane in every computer. He tried to make their operating system as absolutely nasty and user unfriendly as humanly possible, which made which made Sunburst systems infamously unreliable and even caused some users to have motion sickness. And more than likely he was killed. Yeah, I know, it's pretty fucked. More than likely he was killed after Tellus's buyout by Regiel himself. Regiel killed Donald Waits. And since then, Sunburst has served as a semi-handy source of serviceable hardware for the game developers of Tellus. They're always on the cutting edge of hardware design, and Sunburst is a handy distraction so Tellus can inject more banes in software. Usually Sunburst machines are given to the lowest employees, and as they climb the ladder, they sort of are given free rein to change their operating system as they please. Regiel, however, has a very custom-tooled Sunburst PC. He's basically taken out all of the stuff that makes a Tellus machine as nasty to use as they are. Meanwhile, in Japan, you have the Tellus of Japan, Tetsumomo. So, slowly but surely, the Pentex corruption is becoming more prominent in that company. For now, it was a success story about a faltering company turned around by good investment. And given the corporation its stake, and they basically give Tellus a stake in Japan. They churn out a lot of games, a lot of shooters, a lot of puzzlers, a lot of horror games, and a lot of dating sims. Currently, they're trying to make dating sims more popular in the West through a lot of... What's up?
You saying that? That surprises me that they put that in there.
What, about dating sims?
Because that was a deep cut at the time, because that was not a genre that took off. I mean, you would have to get like a PC 98 to find games like that.
Oh yeah, you would have to go do some fucking digging.
Yeah, you would have to, on top of that, translate those from Japanese to English, because I don't think many of those were translated into English yet. No, they weren't.
No.
So I'm trying to think.
What year did this book come out?
Even like some like 2000 is when it came out.
Oh yeah, so that's way early.
Yeah, because the games that Gainax made, Princess Maker, weren't fully translated yet. Like 1 or 2, which are considered to be like the best games for the PC 98. Neither of them were translated yet, so I'm surprised it's in there.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting though, and they've been trying to make dating sims more popular through behavior modification. Tetsumomo creates a lot of fighting games and RPGs as well. Basically, this is gonna piss John off. They basically make Shimigami Tensei and Persona. They make an RPG about where you gather your friends to fight the demons of Earth in order to make the most immersive RPG possible. They want you to get lost in it. Which, of course,
is always a fun time. It's also how Dragon Quest used to work. Was it Dragon Quest 5? No, Dragon Quest Monsters played like that. It's fun. It's like modern games are pretty fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Of course, then we get into the secrets of it, the electronic agenda, as it were. They're in the business of desensitization. They desensitize kids to violence and open up, but oddly enough, they also have a lot of open attitudes towards theft and piracy. They want to encourage people to not only steal their games, but steal any game. And that's just a part of how they go about desensitizing them. Much like how we said Avalon desensitizes kids to think that everything is a game, they want to do the same thing just to violence in general and also towards theft. The games that they make are built to be incredibly addictive. They want to keep people hooked as long on them as humanly possible. And they neatly time expansions to the games in order to ensure that it keeps people sucked in forever. And this is where the interesting part comes in. Pentex is waiting until Tellus has absorbed enough of the population into its swelling mass that they want them to pull the plug on all of their games. So then there will just be thousands of people with no direction whatsoever. And they will just continuously up the stakes in violence, until they wind up just putting straight banes into the computers because people are so conditioned to it. And that, like with the dating sims, they're also trying to find different patterns in their games that can control emotional centers. And they also try to attempt to create psychotropic subroutines that induce frenzy in shapeshifters. That part, in particular, was fucking scary. Because let me tell you, Glasswalkers like video games. They really like video games, matter of fact. And they're probably going to buy a couple of Tellus games just so they know what they're up to. If they manage to implement that into a game and they frenzy in the middle of playing that could be a huge veil breach. So,
Because if you can catch a bane pretty easy in an electronic device as a Glasswalker, you have really fun gifts like control simple machine, plug and play. You're able to talk to the spirits inside devices. Do you know there's a spirit inside your computer? They can
yes.
just talk to as a Glasswalker. And if a Glasswalker has their devices plugged in, if they're using plug and play, they've got like 5 different adapters plugged into something, trying to figure out whether or not this game has a bane in it. It doesn't even need the bane in it, because the minute you find the program that's going to start emitting the white noise or the flashing light that causes them to frenzy, behold, they're just going to smash their entire setup and then turn around and start attacking whoever's around them.
Yeah,
And
basically.
boom, that's in progress set behind.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
It's just bothersome enough. It's just bothersome enough to slow down the Garronation.
Oh yeah, and we'll find out exactly why that is and why they're so good at it before long. And like I said before, they want to encourage piracy. Regiel promotes a rejection not only of government authority of anti-theft, but also uses it as a tool to undercut his rivals. And since then, Tellus has been a worldwide leader in electronic entertainment. Pentex is absolutely baffled at their success, wondering how they could be so successful. But it's because they're in that business of desensitization, because they work with psychologists to make their games as addictive as possible, and they try to take control of the emotional centers of people's minds that they have become so successful. So then we move on to their products. As I said before, they produce games for both PC and console. They have educational material like A Wolf's Life and The Big Pond. Basically, they use it as a tool to sugarcoat nature's redness. They teach children that animals have to kill to survive. And they want to, instill that, nature's the big evil. Of course, they've recently built a new console, which is basically the Xbox 360, called the Tellus Typhoon. That was one of the first 128 gigabyte consoles on the market. So, this came out in 2000. That was when, the PlayStation 1, the N64, and the original Xbox were still launching.
Yeah, this was hot on the heels of E3 when they started releasing the Dreamcast and PlayStation 2.
Oh, yeah. And so Tellus Typhoon was built to be incredibly cheap and have a lot of games for mature gamers, most notably Exit Wound and Lords of the Crypt, which I imagine is just like a shooter and a bloody RPG, respectively. And they're known to add what is known as the Tellus touch. The interesting thing about Regiel is he's savvy enough to know good stuff when he sees it. And of course you have Terminus, which is their dark modern fantasy about killing demons from hell, which is basically Doom. And they sort of began to use it as a behavior modeling tool. And since then, they've also been building a lot of toys for arcades and pool halls. They're not Microsoft big, but they're pretty big. So this isn't really Microsoft, but they are like a direct competitor to Microsoft in the World of Darkness lore.
It's pretty much every AAA developer today, because you said so yourself way back when that Total Biscuit was the Winston Churchill of video games.
He really was. May he rest in peace.
And Jim Sterling tried picking up the mantle before Jim Sterling went fucking crazy.
He really did. He was like, what's a shitty British politician? Oliver Cromwell. There we go.
Liz Truss. Boris Johnson.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, you look at Ubisoft, you look at Activision, you look at Rockstar, you look at, what's another thing I'm thinking of? Electronic Arts, all these different companies, and it's coming out that these places fucking suck to work for.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, EA has always been voted as one of the worst companies in the world. And you look at all the different stuff, you've got rape allegations in Ubisoft. You've got the most unprofessional environment you could possibly work in with Rockstar, and
You have
that
more
you
sexual
remember hearing
assault
that
in
thing about Rockstar
Activision
about
Blizzard.
that. Yeah, you got people from Rockstar Games deciding that the best idea to bond with your employees is to take them to a strip club and start touching the girls in front of them, and then you get pissed at your employees when they don't start touching the girls with you.
Jesus Christ. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's all kinds of
and
fucked
that's a
up.
great idea, which is a wonderful company to work for. So, think of any modern game developer, and they've become Tellus Games. It's no longer that Tellus is going to be the developer that takes over everyone. It's that Tellus is. If I were to like put in my game, say I'd probably say that Tellus has gone defunct, but then all of their staff members went to every other game developer and started running them into the ground. Because you look
Exactly.
at video games today, and video games fucking suck today.
Yeah, they
You
do.
have so many games that are just expensive and large for the sake of being expensive and large. Nobody is asking you to make your games this expensive to make. You've got people that want good graphics, sure, but it's getting easier and easier and easier to do that because you just make the 3D model and behold, that's it. You're really done. You just need the game to run well after that. But then so much gameplay is complete shit because you have the live service where you have the game that you must always connect to a server to and grind the hell out of, and it's all this game where it's a game that's not a game, it's just a job. And I
Yeah.
have to do a job before I can get to the part of the game that I like playing. Or you have a game that's a buggy piece of shit upon release, and you just do a cut and chuck, take the money and run job. Where you look at Payday 3 and how Payday 3 released. And of
Yeah, it was
course, they
broken as
started doing
shit.
one $130 pre-orders before they start releasing a game that they knew wasn't finished and had this massive like roadmap of all the stuff they were going to do to update it and start making the DLC before they made the game.
Yep. If anybody's familiar
Yeah,
with the Internet Historian, I mean, the two best instances are on his channel. It was like the the fall of '76, and I think it was like the undergoing of No Man's Sky or whatever it is. But
mm,
the fact that I do give props to Hello Games for like sticking to their guns, just buckling down and finishing it. But then again, they were screwed over by the
mhm,
circumstance of companies like Tellus, because they were partnered
mhm.
with Sony to release the game way ahead of schedule, and they really had nowhere to go. They just kind of had to keep on working on it, and it was eventually really good.
And we've been working on Stalker 2's development, and pray for those guys.
They're trying to build a game in the middle of a war. Cut them some slack.
It's not only that, but it's that you've had 10 years to put this together and it still looks like this.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a
Yeah.
reason that half of their staff left to go build Metro 2033 and Metro Last Light.
Great game.
Yeah,
I love both of those
Yeah,
games.
I have
and
I have all three of them, but I'm still trying to like sit down and just play through them, which I know I really should.
yeah, if you like Stalker, play Stalker. Stalker's still one of the best games ever made, but if you want more of it, just go play Metro 2033.
I am dog shit at Stalker. I've played it. I've played. No, not Shadow of Chernobyl. Yeah, Shadow of Chernobyl. I've
Well,
played a little bit, but I'm terrible
now,
at it.
now, now we're saying that that's a good comparison because you want to have a Weaver or just a normal game company or like a Technocrat company. They would make Stalker. They would make a game that you can feel yourself improve as you play it. And you enjoy the game. It's hard as hell, but you can feel yourself getting better as you play it. Compare that to Tellus, who would make a hallway simulator if they were to make Stalker, where it's just you walking down one straight path. All the encounters are too easy. You blow through the game in 2 hours because that's all the content there is 2 hours. Or they make a game that's deliberately hard as hell just for sake of doing it. And they want to come up with this whole elitist,
They would make
we
Dark
made this
Souls.
game a hard. We made it for elitist purposes, and if you beat this game, you're a true pro gamer. When no, the game just isn't fun, and you're lying to yourself, telling yourself that's fun.
I mean, I feel like that'd be more
Yeah.
like Destiny 2 is something that Tellus would make. Just how
They
grindy
make
it is.
Rust.
Yes,
Rust.
absolutely. They would
Yeah.
contract the indie company that made Rust. Okay, so where we were at, methodology Basically, their motto is bigger, faster, and more. And Tellus will continuously seed problem areas into their products to dumb people down. And they basically just want to introduce, more and more features, kind of like Windows 11, that just continuously makes it easier for people to use the computer, but also easier for people to forget how to fix problems. So they just continuously have to rely on Tellus more and more for support. Going back to my point about piracy, Tellus actually controls a couple of plants overseas that manufacture CD pressers and burners. And they want to make sure that people have the equipment in order to pirate games, because that's a part of Regiel's design philosophy, really. Meanwhile, Sunburst equipment has a tendency to break after copying too much Tellus code, which is honestly kind of funny that they programmed that in. Like, that's just a neat quirk of the programming. It's like, yes, this is under the Tellus brand, so it's going to randomly crash on you. It's a very interesting DRM. Aside from that, there is a very tight quality control when it comes to the games that Tellus produces. They only pick highly profitable ventures, and they always try to fill their games with a little bane or two, just to mess with you a bit. And since then, they've been working on a system for software tracking. Although more so recently, they've been interested in corporate espionage, and they're working on a super virus called the Y20K. What it does is, I'm trying to remember, it's basically what it is. It's a worm that'll continuously copy itself, infect systems, and not just gather information and send it back to a host server, but destroy it entirely, making systems basically unusable. Part of their pull the plug plan
Breaking your computer.
Yeah, basically another piece of Tellus or of Pentex's pull the plug plan. As for the work environment, it is what they refer to as customized wage slaves, custom wages, as it were. The work environment itself is deliberately relaxed, and the staff usually enjoy the work. They allow people to, put up their posters, whatever it takes to get people inspired to make the cool games that make them the big money. As for the development cycle, there are two types of people that work for Tellus. There are the fresh young hotshots and the has-beens. The fresh young hotshots are usually newcomers driven by greed and a vision. They come second to status. And they sort of chain themselves to their desks, and they just grind out coding sessions, just filling themselves with whatever caffeine or whatever drugs they need to get it done. They're basically addicted to their own games. Although, and this is one of my favorite parts of the book, it says, eventually, virtue fails, vice prevails, and they turn to office politics and underhanded tactics to advance their careers. They will, basically pillage all of their other people's, they will pillage their other developers for their programs. The most devious with enough ass-kissing can become lead programmers. They might try to crack a game by a rival team and release it on the internet, and people have to constantly change their passwords lest they dabble in credit card theft, or they have this is actually in the book, they have somebody on the staff basically sending them illegal porn on their computer to get them not only fired but arrested. They will do anything to fuck each other over in order to try and get a little bit of clout in their company.
These guys are buying from the Setites.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, behold, you got cheese pizza on your computer. I don't know how that got there. Let me just type in your pseudo password on your work terminal. What's that doing there? I didn't put that there.
Exactly. However, only the real skilled ones can overcome the backbiting, and they become what is later known as the elite. As for the marketing, they always have a sharp dynamic edge, and it's the difference between sales and cursory mentions in shitty gaming magazines. It's interesting that the marketing in Tellus actually tells the programmers what to do. The lead developers of a product have to find a way to pitch their project to marketing in order to get a push from them. The team usually winds up doing most of the work after that. So basically, marketing members are handed out to programming teams to design visuals, create manuals, covers, ads, etc. And they are what is referred to as creatively diseased. Marketing winds up overpromising and forcing dev teams to just add whatever. And they basically say it's like, oh, this game would be cooler with a flamethrower. Add that in. This game would be cooler with this in it. Add that. And they continuously they basically encourage scope bloat, which basically as a project continues, more ideas are kicked around, and it continuously expands the scope of production until it becomes an unfeasible project. The leader of their marketing team. What's up?
You're telling me it's basically the development cycle of Indivisible.
Yes.
Yeah.
The leader of the marketing team is a gentleman named Raul Galen, who is a fat, arrogant misogynist and completely unaware of Banes. He just wants to make $1.01 off of his business, is what he does. Customer service. Customer service is a punishment. How much can you respect someone? Yeah, exactly. Retail workers.
Like this job.
As someone who's worked at Walmart, I absolutely understand customer service.
Yeah, it's fucking
You got
rough.
so many guys who are just nasty for the sake of being nasty. It sucks. Like, die. These people are like trying to help you. Just
Yeah.
for real.
Yeah, but they're pissed off because the thing that they bought to work doesn't work. So it's your fault for selling them something that doesn't work.
Because typically it's their own damn mistake. That hardware store that I work at, sometimes people will just return garden tools because they didn't know how to use them. And then it's brought back into the receiving bay where we turn on, behold, your weed whacker works, your chainsaw works, your lawnmower works, you're just stupid. You just didn't know how to work the product that you bought.
Yeah, people are actually pretty fucking stupid.
Yeah.
It's one thing I've learned from working retail. Read the
You
manual.
don't need a booklet anymore. Like, every single one of these tools has a PDF guide that you can pull up by the company that made them online. That's why I told people that were buying lawnmowers, we don't have the paper manual anymore. Here is the website that you can go to right here. That's got this PDF for your lawnmower right there. That's how you do it.
Oh yeah.
And of course, nobody wants to read that.
Well, no, because nobody likes reading.
Yeah.
So anyway, customers.
And even if I had the paper manual, you wouldn't read it.
Basically, yes. So basically, how much can you respect someone if you answer phones all day? The customer service, they make sure that the representatives, they make sure they don't find out about how low they actually are on the totem pole. And the misery of customer service is yet another step to Pentex's plan to leave people just basically guideless and empty. And then there's quality assurance.
Second retail job.
Yup. Fuck that job. It sucks. Quality assurance is almost as much a punishment as customer service. They are paid to playtest the living hell out of every single one of their games. They need to know secret moves and hidden levels from all sorts of publishers and all sorts of genres. They are technically lower on the totem pole than the frustrated and sadistic developers. And a lot of times the developers will try to make end runs around quality assurance. They want to make their lives miserable. So when the development team came up with the Impact Vest, they would make an actual electrical shock vest. So when you get hit in the game, you would get hit in real life. A tactile vest, as it were, that they're trying to do for VR. That was later scrapped after a few rounds of testing because of the amount of injuries that would occur in QA. However, it is occasional that a quality assurance job might get you into a dev team. And the low standards for entry make it a viable option for the monkey wrenchers, so to speak, of Tellus. The management itself, oppressively out of touch. They have these giant multi-step programs to promote effectiveness. They keep programmers in line and keep morale high. Of course, they fucking don't. The managers absolutely resent the shit out of the design staff. If something's not right, it's the dev team's fault. If the dev team's screwing up, then more discipline is in order. Management is usually completely fucking inept when it comes to computers, except Regiel. And basically all of the real supernaturals are in upper management. The normal people, who are the majority, have a department all of themselves that they manage. Yeah, so like most other dev teams, like the management is just completely computer fucking illiterate.
You notice that everybody who runs a game development team has no interest in playing video games or even touches the genre. Like Strauss Zelnick of Take-Two doesn't even play his own games. He's never touched one in his life. That's why it sucks that guys like Satoru Iwata are dead, because that was a guy who had a genuine passion for the industry that he was a part of.
Yeah.
And with like you could tell it the day he died, there was a change in Nintendo where you know just how much I personally fucking hate that company.
Yeah.
But you can feel a
company.
change after her death because now the whole shtick is that I have a board of directors where you need to go to one of those to one of those directors with an IP in your hand and say, can I get the approval to make this? But every person at that board is extremely biased towards one type of game in particular. That's why you get so many fucking versions of Animal Crossing, Mario, Zelda, and Pokemon. Those are the 4 games that Nintendo makes anymore, along with Splatoon. And Splatoon has been the exact damn fucking same game it's been since 2014.
Yes, it's all a bunch of bullshit.
They'll even make their own games anymore. They have 2 studios, and that's it. And everything else is given to third-party companies that get shafted if the game doesn't do well.
Yep.
And even if the game does well, they still get treated like shit. I mean, we're still waiting for Metroid Prime 4 to come out, and a lot of stuff is being hush-hush, but I know these guys are getting raked over the coals by Nintendo over Metroid.
Which means Metroid Prime 4 inevitably is going to suck shit.
Yeah, the minute that goes down and that company goes under, please find a way to support the team directly.
Yeah, support Retro Studios and avoid supporting Nintendo at all costs.
Yeah, and we mentioned Jim Sterling before. We've had to cut that out. But and his words, he's not endorsing it, but it's totally morally okay to just do whatever you want with Nintendo games and obtain them however you want.
Do what
Once again,
Abraham
we're not endorsing it,
Dockereggill
but
does and pirate the shit out of everything.
It's not something we're endorsing, but it's a moral virtue.
I'm endorsing it to whatever the fuck you want.
You felon.
Yep. Okay, personnel. So there are a few out and out in the know worm worshippers within upper management personnel. Some are aware of Pentex's Omega plan, which is the pull the plug, but don't know about the supernatural. There are 2 types of upper level personnel. There are pros and there are elites. Pros are slick suits of greed and no tech savvy. They're initiated in the worm arts and are thralls to the Lord Thurifuge. The elites are all the in-the-know people, and they really just kind of want a challenge, both management-wise and technically.
Thurifuge is an urge incarna, a male Jin incarna, so don't worry too much about that.
Yep. As for the main staff itself, of course, we have Abraham Dockereggill. This is really interesting about this guy. He is an incredible villain in the series, and I applaud whoever wrote this book. Dockereggill, as he is known, is something of a legend. He's an electronic wizard with a keen eye for digital escapism. He is the grandfather of the industry. He's up there with like the Nolan Bushnells of computing. He has a I'm gonna fuck up this word. Has a Brogding. I can't fucking say that.
Ooh.
He's a huge fucking ego. What?
I have your writer. It's Ethan Skimp wrote this guy.
Ethan Skimp, great fucking job on writing Abraham Reggill. Regil.
And it makes a lot of sense because, like, Werewolf the Apocalypse was his baby when it came to this. So, yeah, the guy who did the most work for Werewolf, it makes sense that he makes the best villain for it.
Yes. He has a sort of edge and a magic touch with any computer he touches, a spiritual edge. Why? Because Abraham Dockereggill is a fallen glasswalker theurge. He was originally known as Adrian Soldering Claw McKibben. And he eventually he began to rake in large amounts of money by pirating games and developing his own software, to the point in which he eventually fled his sept and faked his own death. And he believed that forming this new industry was the only way to go. The Black Spiral dancers know of Regal's achievements and his true nature as a glasswalker, and they constantly encourage him to dance the Black Spiral, to which Regal always refuses, saying that, quote, maybe after the next game cycle. So Abraham Doc Regal is a fallen glasswalker theurge. He's not baned. He's not a Black Spiral. He is an honest-to-God fallen glasswalker. That is incredible.
That's something that got me with the Werewolf episode where they were talking about the Black Spiral dancers, and he said every fallen werewolf is a Black Spiral. You have to do the fucking dance first in order to become one. Does that make every member of the Better Hex a Black Spiral? Does that make every member of the Wicked Stepmothers a Black Spiral? No, it does not. You've devil's advocate.
The Get Ephemeris Saroon brain strikes again.
Is every Ouroboran Stargazer a Black Spiral? No, you can fall in different ways. And the reason why you are hesitant to dance the Black Spiral is because that's the devil deal. That's the worm gets your soul. You're fucked upon death. Every vampire is terrified of final death because they know that their soul's going nowhere upon death. No heaven, no hell, no reincarnation. You're gone. Existence over. That's the same when you dance the Black Spiral. The minute you die, your existence is terminated. There is nothing that's going to happen to you, and your essence gets sucked directly into the Atronic worm. So that's why he's not dancing the Black Spiral, because he knows what that's going to do to him, and he wants to come back because he wants to be an ancestor spirit talking to his own guys when they eventually reincarnate, and he can serve the worm while maintaining himself. That's what he wants.
That's a freaking brilliantly written fucking villain. Excellent work. Yeah. Moving on with the
one up on the Black Spirals too.
Yes.
So why is he a villain?
Because
why is he a villain? Because he's making worm propaganda.
Yeah, he's making baned machines that he's selling to the masses.
Well, see,
this is also
right
part
there.
of the whole. It's the whole nihilism too, because you look at the worm and you start thinking that there's nobody going to fight this. It's the cosmic force of death. It's somebody losing the will to keep fighting. And instead of giving up, choose to assist in the world's destruction. Abraham Regal wants to die. That's what he wants. But he personally wants to die, and he wants to come back in a world where there isn't this whole fight for the worm going on.
That's why he wants to be an ancestor spirit.
Yeah, so he can come back in a world post-apocalypse where maybe this shit isn't going on.
He's already succumbed to Hirano. That's what he's done.
It's not Hirano so much. He's already juiced up all this stuff. He's a glasswalker, so it wouldn't surprise me if he's got cybernetics in his brain keeping him happy.
More than likely, yeah. Moving on with the personnel, you have James Tsai. He's a very powerful figure within the European branch of Tellus. He's the director of overseas resources. He is one of Regal's elite. He's honestly even more cunning than Regal. He produces replicated CDs and DVDs, and Regal hired him as a thief set to catch other thieves. He's basically the bouncer of Tellus. He keeps them from getting ripped off, and he is dangerously well connected. He sets up source code with the intention of being sold to private publishers marked with Banes. And he has acquired no less than 4 pirate organizations by doing so, even as leverage in 2 different Asian crime syndicates. Like Regal, he is in the know about supernaturals. He isn't a mage, but evidently he eats humans with his werewolf boss. So, no telling what James Tsai actually is. Is he Fumori? Is he a vampire? What is James Tsai?
I'll probably say he's the guy who's starting to step into the Nefandi, but he hasn't awakened yet.
That makes sense, in all honesty. And then
the Nefandi are fun.
Yeah. And then you have Hamura Ujimitsu. He controls Tellus of Japan with an iron will and the vision. He is a tyrant in the office to the point where his employees refer to him as Hamura-sama. Sama being the Japanese suffix of master. And he's referred to reverently by his underlings and fans, and he forcefully sold himself to basically how he convinced Tellus to acquire Tetsumomo. He went to a meeting when they were touring Japan and forcefully sold himself to Rigel and Sai. He spared no expense in providing the ultimate immersion in video games. If Hamura-sama puts his name on something, it has to be good. As for his figure, he's a very tall and strong individual, and he's actually Tengu-kin. He was seduced by a wyrm in his espionage and murdered his Tengu wife. And then he gleaned his son Yomi and took the spirit egg bound to his child. And for that, he was granted a handful of wyrm gifts. He is known to be a very astute fortune teller, and the I'm going to butcher this one too. Henji Yaki.
What the fuck?
What?
Henge Yokai.
I'm sorry, I don't speak fucking Japanese. They basically placed Hamura close to the top of their kill list. They hate the shit out of him.
You've got the bully Shohige, Stargazers, and Hakin coming after this guy. And in case you're lost on Tengu, that's the Korax by another name.
Yes, he is.
So that's he
is Korax
second Korax that's fallen.
Yes.
In this book.
There's a fucking fly in my room. God damn it.
You gotta love the Korax, but the minute they turn traitor.
Oh yeah. then they're fucked. Okay, as for the development houses, they've got a couple of different ones. First, they have Nightmare Engine. They're an independent house in name only. They're a disgruntled band of malcontents in this beautiful sounding town called Arsenic, Iowa. They are code crunchers and pranksters, developers of a game known as Lycanthrope the Ratcher, the Bowels of Terra. Basically meant as anti-werewolf propaganda. It says in the book that any glasswalker that purchases this game will be less than flattered at their depiction. Following that, you have Fatalistic Entertainment. They are the elite freelance developer house. Perfectionism is the name of the games. They are ultra slick and super fucking arrogant. And they're typically resentful of having to use so much hardware or word processing that they didn't build themselves. They're a very mercenary development team, but they're also very status conscious and incredibly touchy. If you question them, they're going to find a way to fuck you up. They basically perceive Tellus as being on the edge of extreme content and are responsible for the works like The Ravishing Damnation, where an undead marauder's deterioration. Tainted by Black Dog, programmed on Tainted Sunburst hardware, and programmer Tainted. What's up?
Which I might want to say, that is a direct spoof of Vampire the Masquerade Redemption.
Yes.
Which is a Diablo clone, if you're interested in playing that game.
Ah, sounds fun. Yeah, they basically they do as much as they can in order to worm taint their hardware. Moving on from that, we have Wotan, who is who is completely under the iron fist of Hamura-sama. Versatility is their main goal. All of their properties are completely original, headed by their brilliant lead programmer and designer, Katsu Yoshihara. He is an Eastern vampire whose works drips with sadomasochism. He himself is actually a Kuei-jin. And a lot of his sketchbooks that people have seen include a lot of images of Western vampires and spirits within his art. He basically helps sell he sells the immersion in the works of Tetsumomo. What's up?
Given that, I just looked at that too. He's more in touch with his Poe side, the demonic ghost half of him. There's no reasoning with this guy. There's no reasoning.
He's nuts. So we're getting near the end of this. We only have a couple more sections to go. So first we have security. The human employees at Tellus are mostly fleshy punching bags. Francesco has loaned out several of the Black Spiral hive mates to act as security, and the dancers fucking hate it. However, the human security in the buildings, there's a lot of human security in buildings where hardware research takes place. But the Umbral security is a fucking nightmare. It is filled with corrupted Weaver spirits by the barrelful. There's millions of them. Only the most umbrally adept stand anywhere near a chance of getting to Tellus' mainframe. Banes infest the areas corrupted by electronic elementals. The motion sensors even have an attitude. Simply just hacking isn't going to work either. There's loads of false info, honeypots, umbral tags, computer spikes, worms, trojans, logic bombs. Anything you can think of that will fuck up your system if you click the wrong link is in that system. However,
By the way,
what's up?
Ethan, I love the Cyberpunk 2020 reference you put in here.
Which one?
This is essentially net running, is what you described.
Yes, that is what you have to do
Yeah.
if you want to have anywhere near a chance of defeating Tellus. However, if you get control of the mainframe and you keep it, you could tear it down, but no one in the Glasswalkers has proven to be that good at it yet. They're looking, they're waiting. But if we find somebody who is, Tellus might be in trouble. But the scariest part of Tellus security is what's known as chompers. What's up?
It's silly, but it's freaky at the same time.
Yes,
these guys.
they are one of the penumbral securities that have been reprogrammed by Regal himself and his Sprite Sure fetish. They've also found a way to reproduce. Regal has created self-replicating software. That's scary as shit already.
That's already a bad idea in itself.
They're polygonal monsters ripped from Tellus properties, usually garnered from inspiration from Bane nightmares, either by firmlings or nexus crawlers. They're quite deadly. They work in small packs, but they're honestly quite stupid because they have AI brain. Their patrols only work in set patterns, so they are easy to get around, but they are terrifying in a fight. Overall, Tellus, as we've said multiple times, is the foil to the Glasswalkers, and any Glasswalker worth their name has to try to stop them at least once. That reaps tons of renown to get the silver, and can even make you worthy of getting the silver record. The Garo don't know that Tellus is any different from any of the other devs, but Regiel himself might be the only weak link, but he has tons of security. It is nightmarishly difficult to wreck Tellus' Umbral network, as we described, and Tellus doesn't have enough techno-shamans or shapeshifters to meet demands for viral banes, so they're eventually going to run out if you keep chipping away at them. Crashing the network would cut out their availability to place taints, however. Only the Glasswalkers and Bonars and other Ura are likely to run across Tellus, however, given they're more based in Weaver hides. The internet is an easy way to be Bane exposed, however, and Tellus is brimming with possibilities for visual backdrops. So if you're in an urban setting in your werewolf game and you have Glasswalkers in your pack, make Tellus part of your story. They are a terrifying enemy.
But even something small, like just having an advertisement for one of their games appearing somewhere.
Oh yeah,
Something like that.
absolutely.
And how do we stop these guys, you wonder? Well, there's
Question
one
numbers.
easy question. Well, there's
Thank
one
you.
easy answer to this. Virtual adepts.
That's true. They're the only people
Yeah,
better
all
than the
the-
Glasswalkers for the job.
On top of that, they've also they're way better at cyberspace and way better at hacking than the Glasswalkers because they've got the foci that could just act as a cheat code for whatever they want. So the minute they're in cyberspace, they can just do whatever.
They have the
The
game
worst
genie.
place you can fight a virtual adept is inside a computer. That's the worst place you can encounter one of them.
Yeah, you're
On
basically
top of
fighting
that-
Neo from the Matrix.
The Technocracy has no interest in Tellus because they don't bring in enough of a bottom line for the syndicate, the money mages, to be interested in them. So you could have it be that these guys just get so obnoxious in the eyes of the technocracy that they say, all right, we're going to send someone in and to bust up your company from the inside. Or you can have Tellus all of a sudden start bringing in all this money and then make a plot line about the technocracy acquiring Tellus, partially at least. On top of that, let's get some vampire involved in this. You know who would be very good at fighting Tellus?
Who would that be?
The Tremere.
Actually, yes, the Tremere do have a lot of sorcery, so that'd be good as well.
The Tremere are just good at everything, but you know who's got a massive, massive presence in Japan?
Aside from the Kuei-jin?
The Tremere.
True as well.
So, behold, if you want to have a Raiders Tokyo game, and your Tremere buddies want to fight uh, their Japanese branch, was it Tetsumomo?
Yep.
Behold, the Tremere are just waiting to, just waiting for that plotline to happen. On top of that, you've also got a bunch of rules for being able to dive into electronics as Wraiths in Wraith the Oblivion. And that was written back into the 2000s. Imagine what you could do with Wraith now, where you can have a ghost possess a computer. So behold, if you don't want to risk your life getting rid of that Bane, get a ghost in there. Get your local Silent Strider to send a ghost into that computer, or if you're doing Vampire, and your ghouls are spending too much time playing their video games, you as the Giovanni send a ghost into that computer, bust it up from the inside, and then quit making that computer so addicting so your ghouls can get some work done.
Yep. Ghost goes in there, goes, this looks important, pulls out a circuit board. Oops, I guess one of
And
the
then,
pins
of
on your CPU got bent. Oh well.
And then, of course, the solution for changing the dreaming is just to play outside. That's all I need to do, just play outside.
Your job is to convince a kid to go outside and play.
And I'm thinking of one more thing.
Fucking
I've
knocker
noticed
comes
that at the
up,
bottom of it,
tells the
it's-
kid to touch grass.
It says at the bottom of this that there's only one werewolf tribe that doesn't have to worry about Tellus, and that is the Red Talons. So, would you like to guess why?
Well, because the Red Talons don't play, because wolves don't play video games.
No, they don't play video games unless you're Abraham Regal.
Yeah.
But now I'm just thinking about the image of like a Red Talon taking a computer, like, shaking it around in his mouth like it's a snake and breaking the computer.
That'd be fucking funny.
If you got a Sunburst computer, just hand it over to the Red Talons. They'll get it done for you.
Yeah, there you go. I think actually now that I'm
Can't possess me
realizing
if you
it,
don't work.
in our vampire game, when we were trying to stop the revolting the revolting Camarilla from killing Big Mona when she was trying to escape, they had a Tellus computer with them, didn't they?
Yes.
Okay, that's what that was. None of us could actually get into it because the
Yeah.
Banes almost got us.
Yeah, it wasn't the Camarilla, it was the Sabat trying to get her, and it was that Bruja that had the VR headset on. That was her.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's it for Tellus.
Yes, it is.
Now we get into the really political part of this video. Let's see how much of this we got cut out.
Oh,
Big
boy.
Pharma.
Fun.
Big Pharma, the
Big
industry
farm.
that I fucking hate the most. Pull up that muscle man, pull up that skinny woman.
Tough man. Oh, yeah.
Now for the most disappointing one. All right, so you might be looking at the little time bar at the bottom of this video and wondering why is there such little time in the video left? It's because the last company in this one sucks.
The artwork
I'm-
for it is pretty funny though.
Yeah, pull it up. Yeah, that's well, it's funny now, but let me go into detail about that.
Yeah, I mean, you've got Bud
Alright.
Dwyer over here in his fucking mage outfit. You can't do that on TV.
So that's coming up with this shit.
I like the scuffed looking
Um,
cat in the corner.
Yeah, it's dead. It's hanging from his hip.
Oh yeah, I see that. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, yeah. All right, so that's the logo. Blow it up on screen.
Yep.
Now this starts interesting, and I swear this part was written by a different guy. It's this fake like news article about a guy who loses his mind after playing tabletop games and ends up killing his friend's grandparents. Um, and it reads a lot like the Columbine killing, like the reports on that, because they immediately start bringing up Marilyn Manson and say, oh, we looked through his role-playing games, his video games, and he's listening to all this satanic stuff, and that's why he went on this murder. That kind of like bullshit
All that
journalism.
bullshit. Yeah.
And and then it goes downhill from here.
Marilyn
So this was
Manson's
written by
just a
Justin
slew-all.
Chile.
Let's be honest.
This was written by Justin Chile, who, once again, vampire is his wheelhouse. But as I started reading through this, most of this writing just did not sit well with me at all. Because what do you think Black Dog would be? This is a evil tabletop game developer company that was made to be a parody of White Wolf, but then it became a little fake company name that they would credit themselves as whenever they would make a book that was considered to be too mature for most audiences, where that was kind of like the little code for, we really do not want you to have your little kids or middle school kids find this book. Where
World of
stuff like
Darkness is
Freak
already
Legion and-
scuffed up as much as it is.
No, well, it's more like
Yeah,
it's more like they got like explicit with their images and drawings. That's what I mean.
Yeah, Freak Legion. I read the comic for Freak Legion. It's pretty fucked up.
On top of that, you have the pictures in Clambake Bali, where that's got like penises going inside of people without their consent. So you
Jesus.
can't exactly like sell that. But,
No.
and a lot of stuff in the Sabat books too. But so I thought this was going to be interesting, but no, let's continue. So they this entry starts with them saying gaming is a niche industry in the state of the incoming apocalypse. How's a game company supposed to be causing the apocalypse? At the bottom line, Black Dog is a company that handles pop culture entertainment and provides escapism, espouses nihilism, causes radicalism and a desensitization towards violence. And hold on a minute, that sounds like Avalon. That sounds like Tellus.
Yeah. Basically.
yeah, it does.
Yep, it sounds like more of the exact same.
Justin
I
Sheely, you
thought this
stopped
was going
copying
as-
people's homework. We all know you didn't
This
do
is
it.
going in a direction that I didn't think it was going into. They start talking about their masses and say, oh, this is a hobby amongst high school and college level kids who will buy these books. And then we start getting them addicted to it. And we get all these guys who want to say that, oh, these are hip. I can play as an anti-hero. I can do a little violence simulator. And as I'm going into it, I start like role playing and I start becoming my character and I start like acting out my inner thoughts at the table and making an ass of myself and encouraging people to do like power trips and power games. And then it starts describing people going into goblin mode. They didn't use the word goblin mode, but it says the goblins. And it says that the kind of famori that they make are like these neats, like not in education, employment, or training, that just do nothing but stay and do tabletop games where, Justin, I don't think you played your own games. No, you need to schedule this shit. You can do that with video games. You can't do that with tabletops.
Yeah.
You need to get a commitment for this.
Yeah, you need to coordinate with your group. Like, hey, we are going to do this at these points in the week, or when is the next time everybody's available?
Anybody who plays this stuff can tell you just how many times they've had to reschedule some shit or had to completely reorganize a game and the day of the week a game was going to take place on just because one person left the group.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, so did that make any fucking sense to you, what I just read?
Abso-fucking-lutely not. No, Justin Achille, you didn't do your homework. That's an F.
You don't even know anything about your own company. This is written 2000. On top of that, there's this fucking comic.
The fuck is this? Developer the Degradation.
Yep. Just take a second to look at that. And
GoobCon 2000.
I don't think this is him telling a joke. I think this is him venting. I think this is like legit him. He got Alan Joy Gates to make a comic for him to vent. And I kind of get it where you might get a little annoyed with your fans like coming to you saying, I don't like the thing you did, change it. I'm thinking like Mass Effect fans when Mass Effect 3 came out, of like, I don't like the way this game ended, change it for me. But at the same time, dude, these are your customers. Like, these are guys who are like coming up to you, like buying your shit, and the reason why you have a job in the first place. If you don't have an audience, you're not making art at all.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
me and me and Kyle and Ryan, we're doing this because we enjoy doing it. And we made these episodes not really giving a damn as to who saw it. We only really cared if the right person saw it. We don't want to become big YouTubers. We don't want that.
No,
And
we're here to talk about something we care about in the hopes that other people also care about it, or at least they find a new interest in the hobby.
and we have some contempt for like a piece of the World Darkness fandom, namely like the liberal propaganda side, the Marxist side, that's trying to turn this game into something it's not,
No.
and has kind of succeeded. But thankfully, we've got 137 people who say otherwise. So at the time of
I was talking to some people at work, and it's kind of weird to think about like how many people 130 people actually is. Like, I have parties, I've got a lot of friends over, and like if you got 7 people in the same room talking and drinking and shooting pool and playing video games, that's a big damn party. You got a lot of people over. 130 people is fucking nuts.
Absolutely.
And we're getting
I can barely
our
stand 2
videos are
people in the same room.
and our our podcast videos are getting around 200 views. Our live plays are getting around 50.
You know, that people like
Which is
so
wild to me. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I just
what?
You didn't think you'd have that many eyes on you?
Yeah, exactly. When we first started, I got a little bit nervous, and I'm glad I'm here now.
Well, we're glad to have you. You know, the show wouldn't be the same without you. We need our Get Ephemera Saroon to just say fuck it, Weeball.
Mm-hmm. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I just enjoy doing it. And that Halloween special that we have uploaded, that we are uploading now, I reached out to the fans saying, hey, I want to hear what you have to say. With the 3.5 book, I want to hear what you have to say. At no point am I going to turn you away. I'm not going to do what Werewolf Den is doing and say, you're my peons, you're my little Marxist congregation that I can spin into believing whatever I say. I'm not going to be like Rich across the internet, where I'm going to treat my own fans like shit and just make myself but with your fucking god complex, with you and your 5 friends, where you say, look at me and my 5 friends having fun. You want to have fun with me, stand over there with a 3-foot pole after I push you back.
Yeah, ultimately this is supposed to be a community. We all care about the same thing. And so we want to hear why you care about it, because we want to know how we want to hear how you care about it.
We also want to hear from the Marxist dumbasses, because it's funny to read what you say.
Well, not just that. It's good to have dissenting opinions, because like that it keeps you grounded. You know, it's like every now and again, and I might be going off the rails saying this, but every now and again, one of them will have a good point. Every now and again, like even a broken clock is right twice a day. And it's good to have like people that share opinions that you don't agree with, so you know how to make your opinions more sound. How you know when to change things, when to sort of take a second look at the things you believe in, and also when to know where to draw the line and reaffirm what you believe in. So it's important to have that in mind.
And I'll only ever ban you from this site if you from our channel if you start harassing other people in the comments.
Oh yeah, like as we said before, John is usually the one talking to people in the comments, because I don't got a whole lot of time on my hands.
I don't know. There's this one weirdo who keeps coming in saying freshly first. I say ban him.
I wonder why his profile picture is the same as yours.
Yeah,
it's weird. Yeah,
I don't know what it's a secret admirer. It's really odd.
Yeah. He even has a different username.
That person better look the fuck out, because when I get my hands on him.
Yeah, Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
At the same time, blowing
Uh,
up some of these pictures on the screen. Um, so we say why I'm getting mad about this is that pulling up these pages on the screen one at a time. You at home, kind of like zoom out and just like scroll down across the page so like people can like see what this text is because it's kind of small on the screen.
oh yeah.
Yeah, so as I'm talking, just look at this text. Just look at this and tell me this isn't a disgruntled artist, I say with quotation marks, venting about his audience.
I feel like
Because
that's just Justin Achilles' self-insert.
yeah,
Making
because
teenagers
like
depressed is
looking
like
back at this,
shooting fish in a barrel. Quote from Bart Simpson. Classy.
it's like looking back at you, dude. Like the way you threw your own employees under the bus with what you did with Werewolf 5e, and how little respect you have for your audience. Like referring to the people that made you who you are today, legacy players, as if they're just relics in a garbage can. Where you're looking at a Marxist crowd who doesn't give a fuck about what you have to say and only wants to listen to piecemeal and propaganda. And just not only that, but you've hated us for years. You just had nothing but hate in your heart. You are the most hateful person I know.
It's that same story of resentment that goes on when, they find people that are successful. They want to tear it down and build it in their own gospel.
Yeah, it's like this fucking guy right here. Like, oh, for fuck's sake, put his soy face up on screen for a minute. Like, put like this, like fucking like he looks like the outline of a soy jack in this picture.
Now we're just bullying the man.
It's like it's like this. What I'm saying is like this was a fucking mistake for the keys of World Darkness to be handed over to you. It was such a fucking mistake for you to be the writer behind this. Because of just like the hate in your heart that you had for your coworkers, your own fans, and for the industry at large, where you spent half of what you wrote in this book just shitting on Wizards of the Coast because you bring up like what do you say, like Mages of the Bay, is that you have an entire rant about them bouncing back from TSR going bankrupt.
I'm trying to see what
It,
books
you,
he
this
has on his
is
shelf.
it should have gone to Ethan Skemp. It should have gone to Brian Campbell. It should have gone to anyone else, but it went to you instead.
Yeah, I'm trying to read what books he has on his shelf, but it gets kind of blurry of him moving
Yeah.
in. He has one Irene Welsh book.
Fuck's sake.
Shaw could probably tell me more about
Oh.
that than I could, because I don't read all that much, because I'm illiterate.
I have no fucking remorse for this guy because just the way he fucking talks to people. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And really, really make it stop it right here with Black Dog because the rest of this is just like him making fun of his own staff members because he's got even Shump and Jeff Henning. Where yeah, I know who both of those are, and I can't tell if you're memeing or if you've got some hate in your heart with this one, dude.
Yeah, he is from what I've heard, he doesn't seem like the most approachable guy. Like, God bless him for what he did with Giovanni and Vampire. Excellent work there. But like this shit don't fly.
Like the same thing like with his interview with Outstar, where he's controlling the conversation the entire time.
Yeah, I'll have to give that a look see myself.
It really does upset me. It really does upset me with Outstar because Outstar was a genuinely good World Darkness YouTuber who came in at the same place I did off the back of Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. But now she's like this propagandist for Renegade Studios, and that's all her channel is. Her channel's completely dead, and she's just making content for Renegade in service to Renegade now.
That's kind of sad, actually.
Yeah, it really does suck because you are making fantastic content, and now all of your talent is being flushed down the toilet for a company that doesn't give a shit about you.
Yeah, moral of the story of Pentex is that the companies don't give a fuck about you.
No, they do not.
And looking at the rest of this, and looking at this too, it's like he's got his entry in here where he's talking about Magicians of the Bay, where he's shitting on Wizard of the Coast. He's shitting on Games Workshop by calling them the game designer group. And really, I'm done. We're not talking about Black Dog anymore. We're done. All right, so pull up Black Dog's logo for a minute.
Yeah, okay, give me a sec. I had it, and then where did I put it? There it is. Yep.
Yeah, I'm deleting the fucking Sorjek image too. I can't stand to look at this fucking guy.
He is punchable looking.
All right, so that Black Dog image. So what I thought this was going to be is what I'm going to describe it as. Because Justin didn't want to do a good job describing these guys, I'm going to do it for him. We're going to do a live rewrite.
All right, cool. What do we got?
So, going into this, you remember the Satanic Panic, right? Hearing about that?
Oh yeah, back in like the 1980s, where pastors were trying to like explore the evils of rock music and Dungeons and Dragons and fantasy literature.
And the whole hysteria of this alleged secret church ring, where all these churches were infiltrated by Satanists who were sacrificing kids that turned out to be nothing but hysteria. Why didn't you do that with Black Dog? See, White Wolf got its start with a game called Ars Magica, which was a game explicitly about magic and the occult. And that game had to stop because the Satanic Panic was going on around the same time. And there was no way you would be able to survive as a company making Ars Magica in the faces of the Satanic Panic. So Vampire the Masquerade was made instead. And Vampire, you looked at that, you thought, oh, it's Hammer Horror, it's Dracula, it's Nosferatu. This is harmless enough. Let's just leave this alone. When it turned out to be one of the most intelligent games ever made. And the reason why we're making this podcast is because of how smart Vampire the Masquerade was. And I have a genuine love for the story.
Yeah.
So
it was great to play like a political thriller in a tabletop game form, as opposed to like straight combat and adventure like in D&D 5e.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot more
D&D
roleplay
5e,
to it.
Yeah, I love
because
roleplaying.
we scholars start from playing D&D 5e, and that game nowadays is power fantasy because there is very little I can do to make combat in that game challenging without actively fucking with the mechanics. Because you remember when we did Mystic Odyssey of Theros, I put you guys while you were level 4 up against a CR-17 monster, and you won that fight without ever going down.
I don't think I was around for that part. I came in relatively late in that game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, was that the which fight was that? Was that the guy with the
Black Lion.
Yeah, with the
Yeah.
the leather that was resistant to all magical damage?
That's
Yeah.
fucked.
That was a difficult fight though.
And instead, what you did is that you played smart. You kept your distance, only ever fought the guy at range because you were moving faster than he could move. And then you won that fight because of that. Meanwhile, with Vampire, I love running this as a chaotic neutral GM, which is what you guys fucking describe me as. Thank you for the backhanded comment. All the different strangleholds I can get you in with this game. Because even though you're werewolves, you still have a mess of problems to face. Even as vampires, you've still got a mess of problems to face. Mages, even with mages, you've still got a mess of problems. You may be the center of your own universe, but you can't change the universe at large. There are going to be problems that you just can't solve in the world of darkness. Because these problems are so deep and systemic, there's nothing you can do about them within your lifetime. And that's what I like about this. I'm finally playing a game that has stakes again.
Yes.
And Kyle's too much of a pussy to play Warhammer 40k with me, so...
There's one thing that you can do in any situation, and that's always run away.
Yes.
I mean, that's what Colt did. He went back to Canada and decided, you know what? I just want to be a good dad and a good husband again. But no, I can't have that either.
Sylvester Shrek, who survived his encounter with Malkav and is now in Cancun.
He's living it up.
Working on his revenge.
Oh, well, fuck. If you need an extra hand in that, let me know.
Oh, yeah.
I'll find a way to get in contact with Sylvester Shrek.
Good to see you again.
And going down the line as to what Satanic Panic stuff you could do with Black Dog. What you could do with this, how about you make a mage game where it encourages you to play as Nefandi, but not only is the stuff you're reading in your source book real magic, it's real magic that corrupts you. It's a phylactery that by reading out loud the pages of that book in your tabletop game, it would possess you with a demon, where you would be reading magic words that would actually cast a spell. Now you've got a Fomori factory, or you've got a source of an easy way to get people corrupted by Banes by having them read actual witchcraft books that cause evil effects.
Yeah, that's a fucking fantastic idea. That'd be great.
As you know, with all these different like psychedelic drugs and ayahuasca. There's stuff that looks like elves and devils that are actively malevolent entities during your hallucinations that want you to do evil things. There are things that look like angels that you can't talk to, but you have to actively reach out to them. It's a we won't call you, you call us scenario where you have to actively try to be good in order to reach that kind of stuff. Incorporate that. Incorporate that into your games, where by playing a tabletop game, it tells me I gotta take ayahuasca before I play, and now I'm talking to clockwork elves while I'm playing my tabletop game. And they are telling me plots while I'm role playing as to how to have my role play plots succeed in real life. And behold, all the evil shit that you could do. Why not have like an actual satanic cult meet? And instead of playing a tabletop game, Blood Dog Games are actually producing something that's a cipher where it's nothing but satanic text or cultist text or Cthulhu text or text of the worm, where you read it and behold, that's your next cipher, your next order of commands. Dragon Magazine that TSR used to produce and release new adventures for D&D. Behold, in your TSR magazine, just code the code. Now you have your next command from the worm. See, all these different ideas that I'm just come up with off the top of my head.
Yeah, it's kind of fucking incredible about how many different ways you can spin this. I mean, and that's just
You
that's
could have done
your own-
anything with this, and your first idea was to go to Goblin mode.
Yeah, you're to goblin mode and to vent about your own company.
But the thing is, think about this for a second. They have a parody of Vampire called Revenant. To get your vampire game involved, let's describe this scenario. A Toreador or Ventru is walking through the halls of their Elysium or Haven, looking around, wondering what their ghouls are up to. They look over, they see their ghouls are sitting around a tabletop game rolling dice, and oh, cute, my ghouls are pretending to be smart, they're pretending to be me. Let me walk over, see what they're doing. Wait a minute. What's this saying about the Ventru? What's it saying about the Toreador? What's it saying about like all these like pseudonym vampire clans? Why does all this stuff look like the Camarilla? Why does all this stuff look like our government system? Why does all this stuff fit the embrace? Why does all this stuff look like our disciplines? Oh shit. And then that vampire realizes that these guys have a masquerade breach on their hands because this tabletop game exists.
Yeah, that.
And it's leaking Camarilla and our secrets to the public.
Yeah, that's a fucking brilliant idea.
So behold, there you go. That's your scenario right there.
Yeah.
And,
Jesus.
and that was just me just thinking of the show off the top of my head, and that's it.
So-
And one thing is pretty simple as to how to defeat Black Dog. Just don't buy their products and wait for the company to spend too much money too quickly and then eventually go bankrupt.
Yep, unless they come up with Magic the Gathering, then you're fucked.
Yeah, oh
Trust
yeah,
me,
you are.
people will do anything for some colorful cardboard with a picture of a monster on it.
See, it wouldn't be called Magic the Gathering. It'd be called shit.
Man of the Collection.
Yeah, Man of the Collection. Yeah.
Let's see. Witch to Witching.
Yeah.
Spells the sourcening.
After all, you want to talk about an actual wormish game company? Look at Hasbro right now. Look at them. Look at what they tried to do with the open game license and all the people that would have screwed over.
That would have
Right?
been just devastating to tabletop.
You would have destroyed Paizo as a company if you did that.
Absolutely. You would have destroyed so many
top of
people's
that-
livelihoods as a company, especially with 5e.
And
Like, so many 5e podcasts would have just been dead in the water if that had happened.
Along with all the different your own subsidiaries too, like Kobold Press would have been screwed over had they gone through with that.
Yeah.
Absolutely, it would have.
Yeah, and Disney hasn't released a game in a while, but they had a Star Wars game that ran off the D20 system. That I'm wondering why the fuck aren't you re-releasing this? You schmucks released a Star Wars tabletop game. It's going to
Star
sell.
Wars
That's money on the
5e.
table. You're leaving right there.
I mean,
Okay.
especially nowadays. One thing like I've been
And then
trying to
that-
find
and then
is what's up?
That wouldn't have been able to sell had Hasbro gone through with that shit.
Oh no.
On top of that, Hasbro refers to their own employees as their own customers as obstruction of profit in meetings. Not even
What?
trying to humanize them. Yeah.
That's even more fucked up. Hasbro's just a shit ass
like,
company.
And just like all the experience I've had with the company too, like, which is like how poorly you treat your own fans and your own customers. Just the fact that you have customers at all after all the shit you've done, you should consider that to be a miracle. Hasbro like genuinely does fucking suck as a company,
Yeah.
and
Same
like we're
thing like
seeing
what
Wizards of the
WizKids did to
Coast.
BattleTech.
Oh, wow. Oh my
Struck a nerve
gosh.
with that one, did I?
Yeah, and you look at what D&D 5e has slowly turned into, where ever since Realm of the Frostmaiden, they've released nothing but shit. Journey to the Radiant Citadel, Strixhaven Curriculum of Chaos, Wild Beyond the Witchlight, Big B's something about giants. I don't give a fuck as to what that book was because that book fucking sucked.
Bigby's Guide to Giants
And
with Death Giants.
Vault of the Golden Vault of the Golden Keys, and now this Planescape book that they've released. Every single one of these books fucking sucks because it's nothing but propaganda to liberal and socialist values when you look through these books. When you if you're calling me, if you're saying I'm bullshitting you about this, pull up Journey to Radiant Citadel, read the description of the Radiant Citadel, look at how they describe the socialist economy and how everyone there gets affordable free healthcare, eats kimchi tacos, which is definitely a fantasy food in a fucking fantasy game that you would eat in a fantasy world, and how everything there is runs off of no police force. How the fuck do you enforce any sort of law in this environment? And just what a liberal safe space
You built
shit post
you
Journey
literally
to Radiant
just
Citadel
built
is.
your fucking fantasy utopia. No, there's no
built
conflict
your-
in
you
that.
built-
There is no conflict in
You
that.
built your fake commune that I would invade with my PMC and take everything you have.
Dude, you should fucking run. You should fucking run a Gradient Citadel where you play as like an orc PMC. That'd be funny as shit.
Orcs, goblins, tieflings, demons.
Oh yeah, and they just have like a whole evil party about like just raping and pillaging Strixhaven in the Radiant Citadel.
Get Yankee, the Kitsurai,
Oh.
maybe.
That'd be fucking tight.
Illithids.
Yeah, it's literally
And the whole-
like the fucking when you accidentally make the bad guys cool in like Avatar.
Along with how accidentally racist Journey to Radiant Citadel was. Our first adventure that takes place in the Caribbean. Voodoo is portrayed as a black magic that turns people into zombies and is given none of the context of it being a combination of African paganism combined with Christianity. Our first campaign in Mexico. Your villain is a fucking dude in a white button-up shirt, jeans, and a sombrero who's carrying a chicken around, and he's demon-possessed, and that's it. Our first campaign to take place in China. You're dealing with two Chinese families that sell rice for a living who are arguing with each other.
Yeah, that's just stereotypical as shit. That's dumb.
And like Agent George, who wanted to go. I got that he hired off of like two TED talks. Like all he did was like two fucking TED talks. Let's pull up this fucking guy too. We shot Justin. Now we're going to shut on you.
This podcast is going on a lot past the scope of Pentex, I'm gonna say, but you know what? That's fine.
Yeah, it's going into real life Pentex now.
Yes.
Yeah, this guy that they hired after he did two TED talks, who want to like get up on our faces and say, "Well, we're the only tabletop company that cares about cultural sensitivity, and we're better than all of you because we actually care about the cultures, and yet you made a book that was nothing but racial stereotypes."
But that's the thing. It's just like, and I hate to like drag more IRL politics. It's like how the left turned against the Jewish people as soon as Israel started fighting Hamas in Gaza.
Yeah. The current events were going on right now because me and you were seeing like nothing but fucking blatant anti-Semitism on the internet, and you're Jewish.
Yeah, it's kind of
targets
making
you.
me a little fucking nervous, bro. It's like y'all gotta calm the hell down.
Yeah.
What the Israeli
taking the fucking
government
mask
does to a terrorist organization that hides amongst the population of Palestine is not indicative
reflect.
of the actions of every Jewish person on earth.
And we've seen like nothing but like straight up fucking racism over the past couple of days.
Yeah, Twitter's just
And
a
of course, nobody
fucking
wants to fucking talk
minefield.
about that.
Yeah. Anyway.
Oh yeah, it's
So, but
Yeah.
at least if you have stock in Lockheed Martin, you're gonna be fucking rich, my guy.
yeah. Who's ready for war? Graham, you ready for war?
Always ready for war.
Thank you. Or Get Ephemeris Arun has spoken. Thank you, Pack Alpha. Very insightful.
War.
I'm gonna pull up the picture of like the fish just screaming war. Oh, fuck.
War
Hamlock
never
Plus got
changes.
updated. War
Get
fish.
a bunch of orcs. Get a bunch of orcs screaming war.
No, it's literally just this image always makes me fucking laugh. I love it so much. It's this one right here. It's war, baby.
War.
Yep. Ah, fantastic.
All
All right.
And that's the moral of the story. The moral of the story: go to war.
Yes, go to war. Go to war. Murder your local politician. Burn down a few corporate buildings, and make the world safe for democracy.
Destroy history, destroy culture,
yes.
destroy entire races of people, destroy entire cultural identities,
I
destroy entire
fucking love
nations,
war.
destroy entire religions.
Just
Yeah,
break
fucking
shit.
love war.
Just break shit.
Yes.
Start listening to Limp Bizkit.
And we have been Black Spiral Dancers the entire time. Go to war.
Yes. The calamity worm will destroy everything. Just fuck it.
Yeah.
There's a saying in the Bible. Well, war is good.
Yeah. There it goes. There we go. It's biblical. You remember the tribe of Israel destroyed the Amaleks. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go
yeah.
ahead,
Fuck
do
it.
it.
We've all. We're out here. All right.
And that's the moral of the story. Go to war. All right. Good night.
Good
We're
night,
done.
everybody.
Have a good night, everyone.
You're gonna say GN?
GN.
GN.